Hi there, sweet friends. So we're on to week 6 of distance learning. During week 6 is also our spirit week, our first one. Then week 10 will be our second one, the last week of school. So this week, Monday is crazy sock day. Tuesday is pajama day. Wednesday is backwards day. Thursday is crazy hair day. And Friday is obviously school spirit day. So wear all of your Nevada gear, your blue and silver clothes, any Silver Lake shirts you have. Wear whatever you can that shows your school dolphin pride. During week 6, we're going to be focusing on identity. That's our SEL theme. So I'm going to go ahead and read their definition of it to you. Identity is who you are. Your identity includes your name, likes, dislikes, your beliefs, and your thoughts, your personality, and culture. Remember, culture may include age, race, religion, gender, music, family traditions, food, language, where you live, and anything else that makes you who you are. Each person has a special identity. Learning about your identity improves self-awareness. So self-awareness is important because it helps us understand that we feel upset and why we feel upset. It helps us understand that we feel happy and why we feel happy and what we can do, or if we feel sad, what we can do to feel happier. So uh, self-awareness is a super important skill. Identity helps us to improve our self-awareness skills. So my identity has to do with the fact that I'm a teacher. My identity has to do with the fact that I love animals. Okay, so the things that you love, the things that you care about, the traditions, the way that your parents are raising you, and all of that all goes into what your identity is. I would suggest that maybe you spend some time talking to mom or dad, or brother, sister, grandma, or grandpa about this SEL theme. Before you even start your openers, okay? So maybe on Monday you talk a little bit about that, or maybe on Tuesday, maybe you start off with just working through it in your own brain, and then Tuesday you can have a parent's help on kind of identifying what identity means. So who are you? Okay, what kinds of foods do you like? What kinds of hobbies do you like? Do you like sports? Do you not like sports? What do you do at recess? Um, what do you think your smart is? We've talked about how we all have our own smart, and maybe math isn't your smart, but maybe your smart is language arts. Maybe your smart is something completely different. Maybe you're a really good cook, and sometimes reading is really hard for you. Maybe reading isn't your smart, it's not your best quality, but no matter what, you'll be able to do it. But maybe cooking is what you're going to be best at. Okay, so maybe talk to mom or dad, figure out those special skills you've got, and all the other things that makes you who you are. Okay, so let's move on to what our optimistic openers are. You have 5 options. So there's one for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Some of these are really cool. Some of them might stand out more than others. Maybe some of them aren't very interesting to you. Maybe this one, if you had a special power, what would it be and why? Mine would be teleportation, because then I could just magically be wherever I need to be. I could be at school, boom, and I snap my fingers and I'm there. Okay, or I could be at the beach, boom, and I'm there. Maybe that's a really tough question for you and you don't want to write about that one. Okay, maybe you spend that day just talking to your parents about identity and spending about 15 minutes doing that. Brain breaks, we've got some really some new ones and some old ones. One of the new ones is the wiggle dance. You play some music and get your wiggles out, shake them out, okay? Any song, maybe you do your SEL opener for that day is what is your favorite song? What do you like about that song? And then maybe you get to listen to it as your brain break before you begin your reading. For reading, you need to be doing at least 20 minutes a day. We talk about this every week. At least 20 minutes means no less than 20 minutes. You can do more. Listening to read alouds is super helpful, just like reading by yourself is super helpful. Maybe find a balance. Maybe one day you read for 20 minutes by yourself, or with a mom or dad to help you, and maybe the next day you spend about 20 minutes watching a video where they're reading aloud to you. Okay, so storylineonline.net is a great website. You guys have the benchmark materials. You have old paper, your old paper unit books at home. Those are helpful. Those are great ways to read because you guys are familiar with what's inside of them. Books around your house, newspapers, magazines. Libby is a really cool application. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, it's a great time to do so. Yeah, and then this is the reading log. You do not need to use this reading log. You can use this one, or you can just write about what books you've read, or you don't need to. I like reading logs because it helps me to remember, hey, I really liked that book. I'm going to read it again. So up to you guys. Here's some extra helpful tips. I'm not going to read that. Okay, so read on your own or with a partner this article. I think that you're going to need some support from a parent or a brother or sister, just on a few of the words in there. Okay, working dogs. So you're going to read it a second time and annotate the article. We talked about annotating a few weeks ago. It's where you star what's important. You put question marks around what you don't understand or you still have questions about. You maybe underline the things that really stood out to you. So that was back in week 4, and you can jump back over to week 4 2 weeks ago if you want to. Then you're going to follow the directions at the top of the page after the article to write about what you read. You can write on the page after the article or on this other response page. So there's a response page for both of these. The first one is what I would suggest for my first graders. The second one you can use, but you can always draw a picture on a separate piece of paper too. The first one just has a really cool word bank, so I would suggest using that one with the article. Totally up to you guys though. Maybe give your kiddo a choice. If you don't have the option to print it, maybe just access the article online and use a separate piece of lined paper. I'm seeing a lot of people using plain white paper. I'd prefer you use lined paper, and maybe they can use two of the lines to write each letter. That's totally fine since they're used to the practice paper we have in our classroom. But it's really hard for even me as an adult to write straight on white paper, on plain printer paper. So if you have the option of having a notebook or notebook paper, maybe have your kiddo use that for this. And they should be writing about, I'd say, 3 sentences about the response to it. And that's going to take a couple of days. So maybe the first day you read it, second day you read it again and you annotate it. Third day you start the response on Wednesday. Thursday you continue the response. And then Friday maybe you revise it, edit it, make sure that you love it, draw a picture if you want to, maybe share it with someone else. Okay, so break that up a little bit. It's not meant to do in one day. It'll get frustrating. Okay. Extra helpful tips. Very cool. So literacy. This game is called Change a Word. I'm going to read the directions with you. Make sure that you're not doing the kinder because you are in first grade. If you want extra practice after you do the first grade version, then you can go back and try the kindergarten one. I'm going to go ahead and read this. Have a partner or older sibling write a word, any word, okay? The student, you, should change a letter or letters to make a new word. Keep making one change to each new word formed until you cannot think of any more changes. Repeat the activity for 10 words, okay? So for first and second graders, you're changing the long vowel sound. So parents, a lot of those words you're going to have, we call it the bossy E at the end to make the other letter say its name. So maybe you, for instance, it says example, parent writes love, student writes hive. They didn't have to change too many letters. They just changed a couple of them. So you have to change the vowel sound and the initial or the final sound. You have to change either the very beginning or the very end letter. So some examples of that would be like love and hive. And if you're really struggling with it, just email me and I can give you a list of words that would work for this game. But I'm going to move on to explaining the second game. So maybe you play this game Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you play this one Tuesday, Thursday. Or maybe you do both each day and you just don't play it very long. So students should work with a partner to come up with 2 or 3 categories of items. We did this kind of last week. Like animals, food, shape, etc. Then have a competition with a partner to see who can come up with the most that fit in that category. Write the words in a list. Set a time limit of 10 minutes. Compare the list when finished. Did you come up with more words than in week 4? So you guys did this in week 4. Figure out if you maybe did better this time, or maybe you struggled a little bit more. Maybe you've got more in your brain going on right now and you're struggling a little bit more. So go ahead and figure that out. This is probably a game I would have a brother or sister play with you, a cousin, maybe even a cousin who lives somewhere else. It would be a cool way to reconnect. Or maybe you just compare to week 4. So you don't even play with someone else. You just make your list and then compare it to what you did in week 4 and see if you beat yourself from week 4. Okay. So more extra helpful tips. I am not going to go through the reading or the math, because over here on page 8, it gives you this YouTube link that has videos to show you how to play those games, okay? With that said, we do also have our recently it's become weekly, these word problems, where you have this matrix to show you or to solve it with, and you've got your first grade questions. Remember, if you want to practice afterwards, you can do the kindergarten questions. If you really want to challenge yourself, it is okay to do the second grade questions, but understand that this might be difficult for you. Draw a clock that shows your favorite time of the day and explain why it's your favorite time. We recently started talking about time before we left for spring break. So if you are someone who maybe struggles a little bit more with time and you don't remember us going over what we did, maybe skip over that question, okay? That's for second grade anyways. But if you would like that extra practice, you can go to the other grades. Yeah, there's a lot of new fun games. You can also play your old math games from the other weeks. I have also given you the option of going to Khan Academy. I've given you the option of going to the Bridges Math Learning Center. That's totally always an option for you guys. You should be spending about, I would say, 20 to 25 minutes a day on math, okay? Maybe 30 if you are really loving it. But please don't stress yourself out, okay? So you're only doing a brain break before and after every single activity. If you maybe have been doing math for a little while, but you're not quite done with whatever you're doing, maybe break it up and do a brain break halfway through. We read those brain breaks at the beginning. There's also always Go Noodle. There's a bunch of different games. Math is something that is kind of tough on my brain. So I need a little bit more brain breaks with that. I need some water breaks. I need to go and wash my hands and sing my favorite song while I do it, okay? I need to do a workout break. So do what works for you guys, okay? So after math, we've got some science stuff. So for science, you are going to go outside with an adult and find some rocks. If you do not have an adult available, you can go out with a brother or sister. If you don't have a brother or sister, or mom or dad says that you can go to the backyard to look at some rocks, that is fine, okay? But then you need to be focusing on these 3 questions, these 3 topics. So you need to carefully observe the rocks and write what you see and feel. So how do they feel? Are they rough? Are they sharp? Are they smooth? Remember, don't poke yourself too hard on them, okay? Just kind of look at them. If you can tell that they'll be sharp, maybe don't put your finger there, okay? Then the second topic is that you're going to sort the rocks based off color, shape, and size. So maybe all of the, maybe you organize them so that the dark rocks are over here and the lighter rocks are over here, and it goes from light to dark. So you have a white one, a light gray, a dark gray, and a black. You would just put it in order, okay? Maybe you do it by size. So you put the little rock, and then you go towards the biggest rock. Maybe you do it by shape, okay? So these are more circle, these are more like a circle, these are more like a square, these are more like, I don't know, an octagon. That'd be pretty cool if you found a rock that was shaped like an octagon. So you're going to do all of that stuff, okay? Maybe you choose a different way to organize it. Maybe you go from the smoothest to the bumpiest, okay? Choose one rock of these rocks and draw it with as much detail as you can, okay? Then, if you mix it in with the other rocks, can someone else use your drawing to find the same rock? This is a pretty fun game to play with a mom or dad or brother or sister, grandma or grandpa, okay? Um, Label the rock with things that you could describe it by, okay? So using words in short sentences. Here are sentence frames. We have the color of my rock is blank, the shape of my rock is blank, the size of my rock is blank. Okay, so if you describe it and you draw a picture of it, could they find it with all the other rocks? Okay, so maybe you do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday, so you can break it up a little bit. So maybe one day you observe all the rocks and you write what you see and feel. And that same day, maybe you sort the rocks different ways. Then maybe another day is when you choose the rock and you write the details about it and you draw it and all of that, and you see if someone can find it. Maybe you do this Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, so for social studies, you're gonna draw a picture of what the weather is like today. Okay, that means Monday, Tuesday, whenever you do this activity. Be sure to label your picture with words and or phrases. Describe the questions below with someone and then answer them on the back of your drawing, okay? So you're going to draw a picture of what the weather is like, and then you're going to answer based off the weather today. So when you think about the weather today, what are the different types of activities you could do in that weather, okay? So when maybe you do this on Tuesday, and you have to figure out, okay, it's sunny outside, but maybe there's a little bit of a breeze. What could you do if it's sunny, but there's a little bit of a breeze, okay? Then how are these activities different or similar than activities you could do outside last week? So maybe last week was pretty sunny. So maybe if a day this week is more windy, you have to figure out what you would do, how that changes from last week. Maybe instead of doing last week, you want to do last month, okay? Or maybe you want to do last December when it was really cold outside, okay? How are these activities different or similar than activities you could do outside last week, okay? So this is the sentence frame that you're going to use. Well, there's two of them. The things I could do outside today are blank, blank, and blank. So they want you to come up with 3 different activities, okay? At least. You could even add more because the weather is blank and you have to describe it, okay? The weather today is or is not like the weather last week because why? Okay, so you've got to figure that out too. You guys, this is an extra helpful tip. If you speak Spanish more so in your home, it is fine to be discussing this stuff in Spanish rather than in English. There is another packet that is in Spanish on the website. So if you would like to swap that out, or if you picked it up, you have the Spanish version as well. So then closer. So we've got 5 options again, and these are all about identity again. So write your full name and all of your nicknames. What is special about your name and what does your name mean? Where does your name come from? These openers and closers, so the beginning SEL that you write about that has to do with identity and the closing SEL that you has to do with identity are really important to maybe talk to a mom or dad or a grandma or grandpa or brother or sister about. It's going to help it make more sense, and it's going to make it more meaningful. So if you've got some time during your day to do that with someone else, then do that, okay? Music, you can access the instructions right there. You can also go to Miss Hyler's website. She has some really awesome stuff on there. If I were you, I would maybe make time 3 days a week, 2 or 3 days a week to do music. You don't need to be doing it every single day if you're not finding time with the packet. So maybe every Tuesday, Thursday, you do music. Maybe every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do music. And maybe the other day you make sure that you've got some time for PE or art or science or another science activity, something like that. I'll be posting some really cool activities over on Class Dojo this week for science and art and all that kind of stuff that I found out through the Survey Monkey last week that you guys are needing some more ideas with. So I'll be posting those this week, and you guys can maybe make some time for that instead of doing music every single day. Make sure that you're making time for it, though. It is really important. Some additional resources are Mind Yeti, Go Noodle, Passion Project. Doing those Heidi songs on Clever is really cool. Doing those games on Clever is a great way to practice those reading and writing skills because it's a lot to do with phonics practice. Some of my favorite YouTube channels that I've shared with you guys are Nessie, Jack Hartman, Mr. Spelling. Okay, they all have some pretty great little short videos that can help us with our phonics skills and phonemic awareness. So I hope this all made sense to you guys. And if you have any questions, I'm always reachable on Dojo, text, call, email, Zoom, whatever you guys need to do. You can even send me a message on YouTube, okay? So I hope you guys have a great week 6, and I will see you guys later this week. All right. Okay, bye.